in the spirit of our ancestors, I would like to pour libation. Get permission from the ancestors to speak. Thank you, ancestors. I would like to take time out to share my story about what Brother Malcolm X has meant to me and what his sacrifice have done. And I would like to share my story with you young brothers and hope that my story help make y'all strong, help make y'all worthy, help make y'all peaceful. I began to study Brother Malcolm when I was 16 years old. I got shot and I was at the YMCA, the Old Fort, and Brother Roger Miller, he another barber, he gave me this autobiography to read over summer while I was recuperating. And just that one book, when I read it over summer, I went back to school and it's like it was liquid Drano. It gutted me out, took all that weakness out of me, took all that anger out of me, took all that fear out of me, took all the doubt out of me. And so I've been studying Brother Malcolm for over 30 years. This is a picture of his car, his 1964 Olds 98. I also got a 1968 Olds 98. This is a picture of Elijah Muhammad's son Herbert that we was at the airport in Chicago. You can't mention Malcolm X without talking about Minister Louis Farrakhan. You can't mention Malcolm X without talking about Elijah Muhammad. And you can't mention Malcolm X without talking about the elder John Henry Clark. You cannot mention Malcolm X without talking about the Ku Klux Klan, because this medieval was here when he was born. When Malcolm was 6 years old, the Ku Klux Klan took his father and tied him on the railroad tracks and they killed him and cut his body in half. And that was the beginning of Malcolm X. And you can't mention Malcolm X without talking about Marcus Garvey, because Malcolm X's father was under Marcus Garvey. Malcolm X went through many tragedies. He went to prison in 1946, got out in 1952. His mother's name was Louise. His father, wow, was Brother Earl. Brother Earl's father had 4 of his brothers killed by the Ku Klux Klan. Malcolm came to join the nation, began to study under the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. He began to travel the world. He went to Africa, China. He spoke in many colleges in 1961. I sit on the board of Malcolm X Foundation when I was in Omaha, Nebraska. Never know that I would be able to go to Omaha, Nebraska. I got a son in Omaha, Nebraska right now. His name Lil Foundation. And when I go to Nebraska, as I travel there next Sunday, I'm going to Malcolm X's birth site to play in the backyard where Malcolm X was born and raised for 2 years before the Ku Klux Klan ran him out. Malcolm X sacrificed his life. He got shot 21 times so that you and I can have a history and learn to respect ourselves and learn to respect our children and our women and learn how to be more disciplined in school. Malcolm X sacrificed his whole life. He was poor when he died. He didn't have no money. Malcolm X, he was a disciplined soldier. It was about the people. It was always about helping his people. And through collecting all this, man, it has helped me to be the man that I am today. And I hope that something that I share with you about Brother Malcolm will plant a seed in y'all heart to want to pick up a book about this brother who sacrificed his life, who got killed in front of his family for it. His son got killed last year, his grandson, I'm sorry, got killed last year in New Mexico. Malcolm X was against evil, but now his daughters, they fight because they want to do a new book called the Diary of Malcolm X. One family member wanted to, and the other family member don't. Malcolm went through many transformations in his journey. When watching his mother lose her mind after the Ku Klux Klan killed his father, she began to slowly deteriorate. And in 1936 or 37, she was put in a mental hospital for 27 years. And in this book, I read that it was very hard for Malcolm to go see his mother because she didn't recognize him. She didn't know who he was. And he said that's the hardest thing he had to deal with in his life. But he dealt with it. Not knowing until I read Manny Marble's excellent book on Malcolm X that his mother survived the mental hospital. She just died in 1990 at the age of 91, living in Michigan with her family. So it's been many hurtful things that happened to Malcolm on his journey, but one thing that he never stopped doing, that was caring for his people and loving his people. He sacrificed his whole life for his people, and there's so many people right now, even in y'all school, do they teach y'all about Malcolm? Raise your hand if they teach you about Malcolm in your school in 2014. Why do you think they don't want you to learn about Malcolm? Because Malcolm has strength. If you study Malcolm, you will change. You won't go to prison. You won't do drugs. You won't join gangs. You won't be no child molester and no droppers. That's why they don't want you. So I encourage y'all, brothers, to pick up Malcolm's book and just experience it. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you very much.